and how was I vulnerable when I had an incredible finance background, when I had an idea of exactly what I wanted. I was smart, I was capable, I was engaged, and I was still on an island by myself, trying as the client to figure out what's going on. All of that was basically something I wanted to change.
This is Shed Talk. You know what? I am super excited about today's guest. She is one of the best builders in the world, I would have to say. She builds luxury homes and inspiration to all entrepreneurs everywhere. Allison Grafton is the president and founder of Rockwood Custom Homes. But she is more than just a successful business leader. With her unique blend of finance savvy and creative design, she's built Rockwood into a powerhouse that's about excellence, transparency, and making a home that is perfect for her clients' dreams. Now let's talk a little bit about Allison herself. This woman has rocked the world. She has some serious recognition. She has been awarded the RBC Woman of Influence Momentum Award, the AWE Upsurge Entrepreneur Award, and even Stage Award, and also the Stevie for Female Entrepreneur of the Year. Oh, and did I mention also too, she's also been nominated with, and for 5 years straight, Deloitte's Best Managed Company, 5 straight years. Wow, that is a big deal. And you know what I love most about this is that Allison is as passionate about sharing her journey as she's about building beautiful homes. She's an incredible speaker and a total inspiration when it comes to leadership and building businesses from the ground up. Now, let's dive deep into this incredible story. So without further ado, and as I'm telling everybody about you, Allison Grafton, thank you for joining me on Shed Talk.
Well, thanks, Kevin. I'm absolutely thrilled to be in your shed and talk about my life and journey and being an entrepreneur and just being part of your podcast. That's really exciting.
You know what? And I really appreciate, because I know getting you down for time has been really, really, I wouldn't say difficult, but when you're dealing with such creative people, someone with time management, you're over here, you are an absolutely powerhouse when it comes to it. And in the community, and we're going to talk about luxury homes for a quick second.
Yeah.
And I've been in this I've been in the building industry for about 35, 40 years myself. Mm-hmm. And then looking at it, but when you look at luxury, great homes, and as a builder, there has never been anybody that's actually been able to capture a client, capture the trades, capture the whole market in the place that you have ever done. Like, people would write books about how you've done your business in luxury home building. Like, it is incredible. How did you get into that part of the greatness of that? Like, nobody holds a candle to you on that part.
Do you know, I think, it takes a lot of, you have to have a lot of passion. I had a passion for business. I have a passion for business. I came in, though, to disrupt the residential home building market. I didn't feel there was accountability or transparency. I didn't feel product was as good as it could possibly ever be when people are spending the amount of money. I didn't feel there was stewardship, financial stewardship of care, of your heart, of your mental health as you built a house. I was a client many times. And I just felt, and how was I vulnerable when I had an incredible finance background, when I had an idea of exactly what I wanted. I was smart, I was capable, I was engaged, and I was still on an island by myself, trying as the client to figure out what's going on. All of that was basically something I wanted to change and be true, authentically client focused, because I was the client and I wanted to make a company that was integrated. Nobody's integrated. You deal with devils, basically the devil's triangle. I call it the devil's triangle of hell, but other people don't. But builder, architect, designer, client in the center. And the client is responsible to keep all of them organized together, or else their project just doesn't go very well. So I wanted that to change, and I integrated every aspect into Rockwood so that Rockwood would be accountable. And there's very few, accountability in life is hard. People don't want to be accountable. But when you're accountable, you can be the most successful.
So when you were doing that and you're getting in, you've had enough, and you said, okay, you built this house. Now you're starting Rockwood.
Yep.
What was the greatest, like what that challenge? Because also being a woman.
Yep.
And then you're going in the construction industry.
Yes.
And then how you were treated when you first started too.
Yep.
And because you're totally putting the whole industry on its head.
They
by
didn't.
this.
It wasn't embraced. Huge amounts of, it was all men. No, for sure. That's fine. I'm a woman. You're a man, but we're people, and we can be excellent together. But I wasn't accepted that way at all. I was a threat, and because I was a client, people knew me in Calgary. They knew I was in investment banking. I had a reputation, good, but they didn't believe I was actually doing anything. They went and made rumors that I was, just doing it for my own purpose and to save trade, get trade wholesale pricing for my own needs. It was all these stories. Barriers went up. Nobody would give me credit for an entire year and a half. They were like, sorry, we can't give you credit. Well, why? Look, I filled out a form. I have excellent credit. Why can't you give me credit? Well, we usually like to know, the builder and know you for 5 years before we give credit. And that is BS. So I had to jump over that barrier and go, okay, then I'll fund it. I'm going to fund. If I can't get 30 days, I can't get my clients to pay every single day. I'm going to have to fund that as well, which, was just fascinating. Yeah.
So when you started building, now all of a sudden, why into the luxury side of it? Like there's obviously you can go into multifamily, you can go into single family,
Yep,
but
you
then all
can
of a
go
sudden,
into more mass production homes. It's just not my interest. It's not my passion. I have never veered. I think my success is in part because of my deep commitment to my vision and what area of this business I wanted to really excel in and who I wanted to do it with. And people, I will get judged for, well, you just build for rich people. No, they're amazing. They might have more money than others, but they value it. My clients, I really care about their money. They've made it. It's hard earned. I'm not like, I don't believe that rich people should not have money or have what they want. And I just deeply respect them. And so, but they value their money and they make things happen. They make the world turn. And I wanted to just be part of that. And I want to build the best in class, world-class design, world-class quality. And that's what I did. That's what I do.
so when you're now, here you go, you're transforming the build. So you've
Yeah.
got your architects, you got your designers, you got yourself, you're in the mix of the triangle, the Bermuda Triangle, that collapse or whatever that's going to be.
Yeah.
You're ready to go. What was the greatest challenge in changing perspective, like people's minds to that they would buy with you versus somebody else?
Well, I would say, first of all, the level of trust that people have in me or should, because of my honesty, my clarity, I'm really real. Like, this is Allison right here. You'll meet me in 2 months and I'll be exactly the same thing. And I will speak about what I know and my honesty around it. And I have the intention to only do what's best for clients, myself. It's not about you only do what's best for yourself. You do what's best for the group and what is needed to be done, right? I'm responsible to your trade. But people didn't want the hassle. How many times have you heard building a house is the biggest nightmare? We had the worst situation. People are put in horrific financial situations, not because of just their own doing, but because they've hired somebody who doesn't have any stewardship or financial accountability. If you're going to hire somebody and you're building a multi-million-dollar house and you don't know what the hell their background fully is, lots of people can build a good house. They can't build a good house on time, on budget. And I build, on time, on budget. I mean, people can add a lot to these homes, right? But honestly, I just think taking out the worry and the fear of who they had to deal with and could see reputationally who I was and then what Rockwood was, I think it's an easy choice for most.
And it's interesting. So from your first house,
Yeah.
and you go back, how many years? 15 years ago?
Which one? My own?
No, your first
Rockwood?
actual Rockwood
Yep.
house.
It was, I finished it. I incorporated Rockwood in summer of 2009. I got my very first project was a renovation, and they were just about to hire another builder. And I personally knew them, and I had just finished building my own personal home. And I got a call saying, I'm uncomfortable with who I've been dealing with. Are you going yet? Have you put up a shingle? People knew. I talked about my dream, what I was going to be doing. And I said, I'm ready. And he said, we want you. And so we stepped in, redid all the plans. And within 4 to 6 weeks, we're going on that renovation. I only had myself and 3 employees at the time, and three other people working with me. And we crushed it. We moved them in December 17th, just before Christmas. And that was really an aha moment for me, because I said, everything I dreamed that would have been done for me, that I've put in place and structured and put as processes and desires and wishes, like, do you wish to be taken care of and spoken to honestly, and provided a budget at the end of each week when you're in a short time renovation of where you're headed, and show variances? Yeah, I do. Do you want to know that what you've chosen for tile and all of your selections are epic and why they are? Yeah, I do. Do you want to get me on the end of my phone when you call me, if it's 10 times a day, every time? Yeah, I do. Do you want us to meet you at the door when it's time to move you in, and just celebrate that you guys are walking into your house unseen for the first time? You've not been allowed to see it for a month, and it's your dream? It was, and we did it. And I knew that right then, oh yeah, this is exactly what has to happen.
So you look at this and you make it sound so simple and so easy.
Oh shit, it is so hard. It is so hard. It takes magical people. It takes optimism. It takes creativity. It takes holding yourself accountable. It takes pivoting. It takes innovation. No.
Oh my gosh. And when you think about it, because I hear the passion in it. I hear the passion in you.
Yeah.
And I'm in the construction industry, and all I hear and see is the roadblocks. And then what you're doing. And I deal with tons of builders all over the place.
Right.
And good, bad, and different.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting is that a lot of builders say the story. Okay. Oh, it's this.
Yes.
But how many builders truly actually perform the story?
Yeah, you are 100%. And if you say it, you better be 100% worthy of your word and accountable to your client, what you're doing. And sometimes, you know this, right, Kevin? Like, things don't go right all the time. We have a cast of characters. We're working with wood and steel and rain and lightning and heat, and it never goes right, but it goes brilliantly because you right what's wrong every single day. That's not right. That has to change. That lumber can't show up in 10 days. We need different lumber. Find a different supplier today. We need a steel fabricator. That steel beam is delayed by the fabricator by 3 weeks. We actually need it today to keep that going. Who can we go? It's just like there's a solution to every single problem. And in construction, I hate the complaining nature, the complacency, the blame. Everybody blames, right back to the old structure. Architect, builder, designer, poor client is in the middle of every single blame, right? It's the architect, not me, the builder. It's the designer. I know your budget's blown, but you said you wanted gold faucets, and she bought you real gold faucets. It's not my problem. Like, poor client. And I just think the construction, you need a lot more real, authentic honesty, transparency, clarity, major hardcore work ethic, and that you really care about what your own word is.
And it's interesting because when we start, you were deep diving into this, and I'm going to have to ask this other question. When was the time, okay, you're in this and you're in the triangle, you're doing this, as you had one of the greatest mishaps, but understanding that it's a mishap, but it turned out to be the greatest thing you've ever had happen. So going into a worse situation, but because it was so bad, it actually turned out to be one of the most beautiful things that you've ever done. Have you ever had one of those? So it's kind of like a bad thing turning into the greatest thing ever.
Well, I can think of, I have never had a major fail or even a warranty issue in Rockwood. So we build to the highest standard with the highest expert engineers, planners, but everything's not perfect. That engineer and that envelope engineer and that structural engineer didn't think that the steel beam that they said had to go in a wall with concrete on top of it on an outside wall could possibly have a little bit of frost. They don't think. They know it's structurally sound, it's enveloped, it's everything, but frost, and they wouldn't think that corner is the northeast corner, coldest corner of the entire thing on the river. You are going to have a major issue. So when those things just arise because the universe and Mother Nature creates it, everything else has been done right. But that happens, and it happened, and you're like, we have to fix. What do we do? It's unknown to us. We didn't make a mistake, but it's not okay. You can't have that. So then, I mean, that wasn't the greatest thing, but we fix it to the very best of our ability. But one very specific thing, and my team hates it when I do Saturday walkthroughs with clients, okay? So I meet a client, I drive by on the weekends. Part of my amazing fun is getting in my car and hitting my sites without everybody, just seeing them. Walking, first, I look at them, I'm by myself. But this one day, 5 years ago probably, my client was there and I walk in and he's like, Allison, we have a massive issue. And I was like, what is the mass? What has happened? And he said, this garage is way too small. You designed it this big. I told you I needed space. I thought it looked right with all the cars and the things you put in. It's a big problem. Cars are my life. Cars are a huge part of my life and passion. This won't work. And I sat there and I knew that we had a big backyard behind this garage. And it was an underdrive garage, okay? We had a lot of dirt under the ground. I said, you know what? I have no idea how structurally I can do it. But you're right. We need to blow the shit out of this garage and put another 4 cars here. So we can do 6 to 8 or more with the turntable working. And he was like, can we do it? Really? I said, well, it will cost. And in my gut, I think it's over $100,000 to do that. But you would have spent that anyways, because you'll have to have a structural slab, for your backyard, and you'll have to have a bigger patio, and because we're under the ground. And he was like, yep, I think we have to do it. So I go back to my team. I say, guys, we're doubling the garage. We're digging underground. We're adding a suspended slab. And actually, I'll tell you, I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but I know it's doable. And they were like, holy shit, Allison, that is immense, but totally doable. We did it. The garage is spectacular, and our client couldn't be happier with that outcome. It did cost them because they added, but we pivot, we stop. It didn't even hold us up. I mean, we just kept going. We kept going with everything else, and we got back into that garage, blew out that back foundation wall, got excavators in there and did it.
And how much did that add on to not cost-wise, but time frame? Did that add a lot of time to that?
Sometimes it can. In this regard, no, none. Because we could do what we were already doing and just keep going on the garage.
Interesting. That's wonderful.
So that, to me, is creative. And don't be freaked out when your client goes, we have a huge issue. You sit down and you listen, and you can say, oh, but that's what you said, client. You said it was fine. You said, no, don't even argue or defend. You can say, this was the thinking. We thought it would be good. You approved it, but yeah, we can do anything here. We can fix it.
And it comes down to the communication, because a lot of people, we assume that this is the answer. And it's like, if you're not truly listening to the customer and asking better questions, you're already, you're counting your money going, oh no,
totally.
we can't do that.
Totally.
Forget it. We're not going to do that.
It's another scope, but that's okay. Like, that happens. When you are a true custom home builder, there's always added scope. There's always pivotable. We need to do what's right for that project. And what was right for that project was an 8-car garage. Yep. and we did it. And I love that couple. They're amazing. But they were tough a lot. Like, oh, we have a huge problem. Or, oh, what about this? And you're right. Okay, we'll solve that. We can do it this way,
Yeah. Now, from your first house, so we
Yeah.
got you from your first house to your house, that the last one you just done right now.
Oh, my.
Just finished.
Oh,
The
boy.
difference between
Oh.
beginning to now.
Absolutely remarkable. As you would think, over 15 years, the types of homes I build today are some of the most creative, structurally complex, world class. Like, you can go anywhere. The stuff we're doing in Calgary is masterful. And I think Rockwood showed people what is okay, what you can do, what Calgary can handle. And, just masterpieces. I'd love to show you the first house and the house now. It was more straightforward. It was more traditional. It was more in the early days. It was more the practices. We didn't use massive steel. Very few houses had big steel beams, like, to hold loads and stuff. Well, now, 30% of our house can be steel. Inside, steel structure, steel skeleton, to hold up all these remarkable things we're doing. Open up spaces, just the complexity in every single level, from lighting to heating to the materials we're using. It's just remarkable.
And you look at it because the materials of AI, and we look at technology, how AI's changed, and then all of a sudden the building envelope, how that's changed,
Yep.
and everything's changed.
Yep.
But your philosophy
It
from
doesn't
day
change.
one hasn't
Never.
changed.
Does not change. It has not changed.
Now let's go into the philosophy hasn't changed, but now let's talk about Allison changing from that first day.
Well, I was 40 and now I'm 56. So that's a big growth in a woman's life, right? I had little kids when I started, 7, 10, and 12. Well, they are 30, 27, 24. I've grown so much. I'm still the same, Allison. Really interested, love connecting with people, want to work. My work ethic, I think, is ingrained, and I'm so grateful for it. My passion is probably even more today, because then I was facing so many hurdles. And what about? I still behaved in jump around that one, go to the left, jump over it, find someone who can help you. Now, I have so much more ability to execute bigger things, right? And I don't have those same type of challenges, but I'm happy, super healthy. You can't have it all. I have 3 kids. I've been married 31 years. I've created my own wealth. I didn't come from anything. And I am grateful for what I do. I am generous. I've learned how to be a really strong leader. And how to care about those people. I always cared about them, but how could I handle it? How could I manage my team? How could I get them to, feel what I need, the magic that Rockwood requires to do what we do? And boy, do I have a magical team.
And I'm going to dig down a little bit deeper because you talk about your kids at 7 years old, you're 40 years old, starting this up. And people would talk about managing your time.
Yeah.
And I have a philosophy because it's tough to what we call manage your time. So time management.
Yeah.
How did you manage your family and starting a brand new business
Company.
as an entrepreneur and a female?
Yep. And managing everything from the financial worry I was going to have. My husband is an entrepreneur himself. He has never become involved in my company, but he is an awesome sounding board and thoughtful, and has always just allowed me to flourish. And I think he sometimes is just kind of like, oh boy, oh holy shit, what did you do today? What, Al? What are you doing? And we were both so good at partnering. Our children are very important. Our family's very important. But Kevin, could pick up. We had help at home. That was huge. We just made it work, and it never became a big battle. I would structure my life. I was not a victim to my life. I was not a victim to laundry or cleaning. I got help with those things. I wanted good food. If I wanted good food and groceries, I had to do a grocery list. And sometimes I couldn't always shop, but I'd have it shopped for. And people say, oh, you must have had money. I didn't. I just knew I had to do what I was doing and fund what I needed to thrive. And I think we thrived.
I think you did very well as thriving. And the craziest thing, out of all the awards, and you're up for a lot of awards. You've won a lot of awards.
Yeah.
And you look at it what is one of the proudest moments of one of your awards that you've won? And like we said at the beginning, the RBC Women of Influence Momentum, and everything goes towards the Women's Award. Which one are you proud of? Well, you're proud of all of them, obviously.
I'm proud of all of
like saying which is your
all of
best
the
kids.
awards I've been on. Yeah. You don't say that. You don't have a best kid.
No.
They're all so unique. But every award, I honestly have felt great honor. And I'm not bullshitting. It's like, wow, thank you. I'm glad to be recognized for this. And it's so funny because immediately I'm turned to, I better be on my game in the morning again. It just keeps going and improve. My most proud award is winning Deloitte CIBC, one of Canada's best managed companies, for 5 years in a row. In the 5th year, you're deemed as gold. You have succeeded. It is a hard award to win. There is no other private, bespoke, custom home builders like myself ever been awarded with that.
That is absolutely amazing.
So that's tough. You don't bullshit. Your numbers, Deloitte can come in and do whatever, look at any financials they want. Good. Because I run my company so clean. I am, CRA could come in tomorrow. It would be absolutely perfect. As I know, in construction, that's not always the case.
Correct. And it's interesting because when you talk about Deloitte, they don't just, they look at your finance of this, but then all of a sudden it's to be that and have that award.
Culture.
They interview every employee.
Totally. Yes.
Is where you're at, who you're at. There's no second guessing it.
No.
And people that do this sometimes take years just to get nominated, years just to fill out the form.
Right. It's actually one of the biggest when you're nominated for it and you're like, okay, we're going to do this. It's a 3 or 4 month amount of work to get together what you need to be a part of that system, to be a part of, Deloitte and CIBC to review you, right? They ask for a lot of information. It's immense, but it's worth it. You learn so much about your business. You learn, where are my blind spots? Wow, they're asking that. We better know that. Let's look at that. It has been wildly eye-opening, and it helps you to finesse your business. Even though it's challenging and you think, I don't have time for that. Oh yeah, you do. Because that's how you get better.
Interesting. And that is so true. If you can record it, if you can measure it, you can change it.
Yep.
And another thing I want to really deep dive this part is, as an entrepreneur and you're going in it, did you have mentors?
I totally had mentors, but not as, I have a group of friends, best friends, who are totally my mentors. They are my friends, but they are also an incredibly honest, remarkable group of females who, feed so much back to me. Men, I have many who I call to say, can I, a couple of the major guys in home building that I'm like, can you have lunch? Let's have lunch. I want to ask you how you did this. Like, we're in different markets, but what do you think? The sharing has been immense. They trust me. I've built some of their homes. Like, they're in the business and I've built their homes. But they want to learn from me too. And my parents have been epic mentors. They've been true mentors, not just parents. They've called me on bullshit. They've challenged me where I need to. They've supported and championed and cheerleaded for me. And, my husband is also a really sound, amazing sounding board.
So as a young entrepreneur,
Yeah.
female, what would you give the advice to somebody that's starting off in a business? And is it mentorship? Is it drive? Is it passion? Is it determination? What is that one criteria that you would recommend, that you would say to somebody if you're starting your business?
Ensure you are asking many people to gut check what you think is the best thing. Be open, be vulnerable, be real. Like, you have to work hard. We talk about balance and time management. Okay, every day is a different day. There's no balance. but it's balanced, if that makes any sense, right? And I would say life balance is challenging. Take really good care of yourself. Gut check all the time. Listen to your gut. If you listen to your gut, you listen to what what your intuition says, it's 99% of the time going to be right. Back check it with fear. Is it fear that I feel that's why I'm worried? Know what your fears are, address them, have a plan for your biggest fear to get out of a situation. If there's something you get into, have plans. When you have plans, nothing's scary, right? So if that makes sense to you, I don't know, Kevin, but yeah.
I look at it like this. A life lived in fear is a life half lived.
1,000,000%. But fear is okay. Walk through it, face it, understand it. Continue to exercise your muscle of courage every single day and bring other people around you to support you. You can't do it on your own, ever. Your team is number one. If you have the wrong people around you, you will suffer. Don't allow toxicity in your life. Manage out of it. And you can do it. People can do amazing things. Don't think you can't. And don't be stuck because you're stuck in something. Work your way out. If you want it bad enough, and always check your desire. If you are making a change, your desire has to be great. If you don't want to make a change, you actually don't have that much desire. And you need big desire to be an awesome entrepreneur.
That is absolutely amazing. All right, one last question here.
We're done.
It doesn't take us long when you get right into this. I know, it was outstanding having you because I'm just totally engaged in this and going, oh my gosh. Your greatest advice to anybody as a human being in humanity and not an entrepreneur.
No. As Allison?
Yeah.
Live an honest, be real. Look for awe, be in awe of things in your life. Look for the awe. Love harder. When you want to not love, it means something's just up with you. Figure your own stuff out. Take exceptional care of your physical and mental health because you can be there for so many when you take care of you. And believe in greatness. Keep optimism massively alive. And I think when people go down dark holes, optimism doesn't exist. And it exists for me in everything because I always believe there's an okay way out, in any challenge. That's super scary, but there's always a good way out. And that way can be with people helping you and you helping yourself. I don't know, live a big life. Go do experiences that give you awe. And that can be in your backyard. That can be it doesn't mean you have to go to Japan. It means, but if you want to go to Japan, oh, mother of God, go to Japan.
I had this great interview with Allison Grafton. So, Allison, I have to ask you this quick question while we're going to do the Q&A. What questions would you ask me about anything?
I would ask you, who has been one of your most inspirational people you've had on your podcast for you?
That is a great question. One of my most inspirational ones that I had was a gentleman by the name of Tony McGrath. And his story was about basically sobriety and where he was, where he's going as being a CEO and moving to the next level, that it was okay to not be okay.
Totally.
And he was one of my inspirational people that I had there. And I've had a few of them that have really given me that aha moment, that lean in moment that has made Shed Talk, creating curiosity and forcing us to ask ourselves better questions about humanity.
Yeah.
Why are we where we are? Because we first imagined it, and we get to grow every single day.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yep.
Now you know. Shed Talk.